Desk. My name is Stephen N.T. Information we're gathering now indicates that an unidentified man is lying dead near the Tamale Sports Stadium around Gambaga or something, Gambaga Training Institute, and we're trying to get telephone contact to an eyewitness who is on location there to give us a rundown of exactly what is happening and what he can see. The information we are picking is that an unidentified man is lying dead near the Tamale Sports Stadium at the Gambaga Training Institute. Okay, so an eyewitness is here joining us on phone now. Good morning and thanks for your time, Fatau. Hello. Hello, can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right, so we're told that a man is lying dead. Is it near the Tamale Stadium or Gambaga Training Institute?
Yes. Baga Training College.
Baga.
Yeah, Batco.
Okay.
Closer to Ipon. Not far from Tamale Polytechnic.
Okay, so are you close to the scene where this body is lying?
Yes.
So what can you report to us? I know that you might not have accurate information to share, but what can you see? What are you observing?
Yeah, right now they've cut Nim Street leaf, covered the dead body, lying on the street.
And has police been called to the scene yet?
Not yet. They have been waiting for police to come.
Right. So, is there any indication of, what exactly could have happened to this man?
Yeah, I according to eyewitness that yesterday night they were having a dance at the Tamale Sports Stadium. And the ladies were riding at their motor. That he tried to track the motor from the lady. And the ladies cried, and people come out through that. The man lost his life. So
this is a case of robbery, and he was lynched. He was attacked by a mob.
Yeah, they lynched. You could even see a stone lying down, and they beat. You could see the dead body, back, scratch, strip of skin. You could see some salt on the body.
Right. So, if from what you're telling me, it means that there were quite a number of people who might have witnessed the incident. Has anybody identified this young man by name or area where he comes from?
Right now, not yet. Anybody who can get down, see the person, and walk away. Right.
So, who are covering the dead body? I mean, is it the residents?
Okay. Because it's closer to a school football park, and that's their main road to anybody passing. No crowd, people get down to see whether they can identify the person. So even right now, I'm even standing by my friend here. He also get down, go in front of the body, look at it, he couldn't also identify. And he also left. He just wait. Let me give it to the person here.
Right. So what it means is that nobody has of yet identified this person who is lying dead as their relative or their friend?
At the moment, not yet.
Okay. So what's the situation like? Are people gathered around the body and looking, or it's just lying in an isolated area?
Yes, people have been gathered.
Right.
People stop because today is Monday, so people will stand. Within 5 minutes, they will go to their workplace.
Right. Thank you very much for that quick update, Fatau, and we're we're grateful for your time. And you heard us speaking there to an eyewitness in Tamale, Bagabaga Training College area, where we're told that a young man is lying dead. And the information we're gathering from our interview with the young man suggests that he possibly might have attempted to snatch someone's bike yesterday and was lynched to death. So the body is still lying in the streets and has been covered by branches and leaves, waiting for the police to pick it up. So that's the information we're gathering, that a young man is lying dead around the Bagabaga Training College in the northern region. Thanks very much for that update. So to our other story, information we're receiving also indicates that 5 people were killed on Saturday afternoon from gunshot wounds during the installation of the Odukro of Ekumfi Efair Nana Insel the 7th. The victims included 4 children and a 40-year-old man. An eyewitness, Augustus Akwesi Kranting, said the incident happened in the afternoon around 12 p.m. when one of the gunmen who was preparing his gun for firing as part of the activities to mark the occasion accidentally shot the victims. He tells us that it started around 12 p.m. when they carried the Odikro in a palanquin. He said that they were all happy that they were firing gunshots, which is part of the activities usually and during that period. Hello, yeah. Hello, sir. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
So, quickly, can you tell us, give us a proper narrative of exactly what happened for these 5 people to have been shot dead?
Oh, the case of the matter is that there was installation of a Ekumfi Esacho chief. It's an Ekumfi Esacho chief. He is not an Ekumfi chief, as earlier reported by your newsmen. A part of the case is that it was still installed, and then they have to fire gunshots whenever the chief reaches a certain point. But unfortunately, the man who had this accident, he fired his gun, which couldn't fire, and he's trying to bring the gun down, not knowing the gun has to trigger itself. So it triggered and then killed 4 instantly, and 1 on admission at Stockholm Hospital. I was quickly rushed to Kolebu on that fateful day. So the person, the lady is at Kolebu now, responding to treatment.
But it's a bit worrying that if he was trying to prepare his gun for firing, how is it possible that he could shoot dead 4 people instantly?
He did not prepare his gun. He was shooting into the air. The gun did not trigger. So he wanted to bring it down and see what did not allow the gun to trigger. Unfortunately, when he was bringing it down, the gun triggered.
And so it triggered in succession of 4 and killed 4 people. That's what I'm trying to establish.
Yeah.
So right now, what's happening to the one who fired this gun by accident? Is he in police custody?
I must be honest with you. The case is a very national case. The regional headquarters have come in. They are taking from the district to police force to regional command, national command. So he's at Accra now.
So he is in police custody in Accra.
In Accra, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So what's the situation on the ground in relation to the family members of these victims?
There's no chieftaincy dispute. There's no land litigation. It was a mere accident which happened. So the ground is very calm. Everybody is very miserable of what has happened to the town. So today the regional minister is coming so that we'll meet the chiefs and then the Dewey family. That's what we are doing now.
But
we are already at the ground, at my office, waiting for the regional minister who have just called me that he's on the way coming. And the people have already gathered waiting for him. So we'll be going there, and then we'll talk with the chiefs, and then we'll know what to do next to see the dead bodies, the way we will go and carry them and then come and bury them we are seeing the family people. We are all going to interact before we bring them for burial.
I mean, from your narrative, you seem to create the impression that this is not a big deal, but it's a big deal. 4 people have been shot there. What are their families saying to you as DC?
It's concerned human beings. But if you come to the ground, you will see the ground has no litigation. If there's a litigation, I will never allow them to even install the chief. Being the district chairman, I will never allow. Yes. It was only an unfortunate incident which has happened, and it has affected a people who we needed much for the development of the district. So automatically, once somebody has died, it's not a small case, because it's a family, it's somebody's children, it's somebody's relative. It's a pain.
Right.
That's the pain. That's why we are going to share that pain with them.
Right.
We're going to sympathize with them.
Right. So I mean, in your interaction with the family members, what are they telling you? Are they going to take any other action apart from the police action?
No, nobody is going to take any action. They are only pleading with me to say the hospital authorities and the police command, so that the dead bodies can be released for them early to go and buy them, because almost all of them are Muslims, and we know we Muslims doesn't keep the dead bodies in the mortuary for long.
Right. So can you confirm to us that out of the dead, 4 of them are children?
Yes, one is almost about the younger one is almost about 13, 14 years.
And so what are the ages of?
He's attending secondary school this year. He's just about to start when this incident has happened. So he has even not entered the secondary school.
And are these 4 children related, or they're from different families?
No, they are from different backgrounds. Even the older person comes from the next town called Ekunfi Ekrofo. He came to witness it, and coincidentally that happened to him.
And what about the 40-year-old man? What can you tell us about that man?
Why I say he comes from Ekunfi Ekrofo.
So he was also accidentally shot dead?
Yes.
Was he the first to die, or was he the last? I mean, because I'm trying to establish the sequence, because right. So what I'm asking is that I'm trying to establish the sequence in a sense that you've just told us that the one who was firing the gun wanted to check why his gun had not triggered, and in the process killed 4 people instantly. I mean, that looks to me to be a very strange occurrence. But I mean, so in the sequence,
we can't do anything about it.
So in the sequence, 4 people died.
Yes.
And was the first to die were the children?
3 died on the spot. 3 died on the spot, and then the 2 who were carried to the hospital, and one also died at the hospital before the other one was spotted before we took to Kolebu. But
I'm told the information we're gathering from the police is that usually for such festivities, you're not allowed to use live ammunition or gunpowder. So that was absolutely a breach.
Yes, this is what happens sometimes. You see, when strange things are happening, this is how it occurs. The man who fired is a native of the town, but normally doesn't come over here. He came when the installation was going on, so he never knew the arrangement that had been made on the ground, and he went to his room, took his gun, enjoying what was happening, and this happened to him. That's what I said. So he didn't know what the arrangement we have done on the ground before he came.
Right. So now, quickly confirm to us exactly the location where this took place.
It took place at the entrance to the District Magistrate Court.
The entrance of what? Excuse me, can you say that again?
District Magistrate Court.
The entrance of the District Magistrate's Court?
Magistrate Court, yes.
So
on the main road to Ejumako.
Right. So you are DC for Ekunfi Efache?
Yes.
Ekunfi Efache, right? Correct.
Ekunfi District Assembly.
Ekunfi District Assembly. Right.
So the thing happened directly under my roof.
Do you see this as an indictment on you as a DC?
Yes.
And what are you doing about it?
About what has happened. That's why we are meeting the traditional authorities and then the people at hand. This will allow me to see the traditional authorities to either we ban for when the chief is being installed, there will be no firing over there, or even if at all, a selected people will be selected to use guns. Anybody seen holding any other gun, we will arrest him to the police.
Right.
This is what we are meeting with the traditional authorities to have a firm agreement or firm arrangement for any future concurrence when any installation is being made. This is what we are going to take place.
All right, then. Thank you very much,
Thank you very much.
DC for Ekumfi District Assembly, Ibrahim Kweku Dawson. We're grateful for your time. So that's the information we got, is that 5 people have been shot dead during the installation of the Odikro of Ekumfi Efacher, and we spoke to the DC of the Ekumfi District Assembly. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to News Desk. My name is Stephen NT, and the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has issued a 2-month ultimatum to operators of orphanages in the country to acquire licenses or face closure. Statistics by the ministry shows that only 9 out of 133 orphanages across the country operate with licenses. Speaking on Ghana Television's morning show, the Minister for Gender and Social Protection, Nana Oye Letha, stated that the decision is to help profile the number of orphans in the country, whether it is a church, a company, or an individual. Once you're running an orphanage, you need to get a license from the Department of Social Welfare, the minister emphasized. According to her, the ministry will give a grace period for orphanages to obtain their licenses. She, however, stated that orphanages without licenses will be closed down after the grace period. The whole idea, she said, is to protect children, especially there are orphans who have issues with care from parents or adults. We are getting on the line now to speak to the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry, Mercy Ajabing, Communications Advisor, I beg your pardon, at the Ministry. It's great to have you here, Mercy.
Thank you very much.
So, quickly, can you throw some light on the Minister's ultimatum of 2 months for orphanages to register?
Very well. It's a program that we are running under our Care Reform Initiative, which is under the Department of Social Welfare. As you may be aware, the Department of Social Welfare is now part of us as far as the realignment of the ministry is concerned. So we need to streamline things as far as the orphanages are concerned. Now, findings coming to us indicate that most of them, and those 133 you're talking about, quote and unquote, are the official orphanages that we know. There are still others that are unofficial. You might want to call them pseudo orphanages. So there's a need to streamline things, and that is why we started this profiling and insisting that they gain their licenses.
So before this streamlining and profiling, can you give us an idea of the structure that existed in terms of regulation for these orphanages?
Yes, if you want to operate an orphanage, you need a license, and it goes beyond just setting up the structure. You would need inspection. In fact, the place or the venue where you're citing it should be viewed. Those that are the carers, we'll call them, they also have to be screened. But what has been happening is that most of the time these orphanages will be set up even before the inspection is done. And so sometimes there are challenges with the location. There are situations where the orphanages are located in very remote areas, making it a bit difficult if there's a situation of any emergency. So that is also being incorporated in the update of the existing guidelines that are there. you need to be sure that, I mean, it is a place where the children are going to be living. So the living condition, the number, health and safety, all of this needs to be inspected and approved before it goes into operation. But that is not what has been happening.
Right. Carry on.
Well, that is why we need to ensure that people comply with what must be. So what has not been done right, we cannot go blaming anybody for what has not been done right. What we can do is to ensure that the right thing is done, and that is what we are championing.
Right. I know that child protection in these orphanages are a key concern for many governments and your ministry as well, due to the revelations that have investigative reports that have come out in the past of abuse against children and proper care. Can you tell me, apart from the ultimatum or steps in place to ensure that orphanages register, whether your ministry has put in place any mechanisms to ensure effective child protection and care in these orphanages?
Okay, then the child protection that existed until now was all based on the Children's Act, which was being used. Of course, it had its challenges, but we have now developed a child protection policy, which wasn't in existence now. And if you go to other jurisdictions, any organization or institution that deals with children must have a child protection policy, and it must be signed by all those that come into contact with children. And this child protection policy makes certain demands on the service provider or the caregiver or whoever is working or coming into contact with the children. Now we have moved forward. From the Children's Act, we have been able to develop and finalize a comprehensive child protection policy. This is work that we did frantically last year, and we're going to be finalizing it and rolling it out this year. And so and that is why we are insisting on this licensing, because as you go through the licensing process, all these things are going to be checked. The people that you deal with will necessarily have to be given some form of training, because taking care of a child is different from taking care of an adult. And there are certain things that need to be addressed. And if the people who are handling these children do not have that information or that knowledge, then obviously it's just going to be either abuse or malhandling of the children. And so that is why we are intensifying this program. And so that child protection policy, we have the guidelines, the implementation guidelines with it, and then we have the advocacy strategy as well to have a buy-in of the citizenry, and particularly institutions that deal with children. All of them will have to, as it were, sign on to it. And then we are also developing our monitoring and evaluation framework to ensure that these things we do not just lie on desk and gather dust, but then they are implemented. And then while during the implementation, if there's a need for any form of review, it is done. Because we need to start from somewhere. Policies must be made to work.
Now, I mean, let's move a little away from these registration and childcare issue and talk about adoption. I mean, my understanding and experience from a lot of people I've come in contact with who wanted to adopt children from Ghana went through some very cumbersome processes. Can you walk us through how easy it is to adopt a child from recognized orphanages in this country, from the north to the south?
Again, that is why this licensing thing is very critical, because these orphanages that were not licensed were doing their own thing. And so we do not know who adopts who, you understand. And if you recall, last year we placed a moratorium on adoption, and inter-country adoption, because the information that reached us through our investigations and survey indicated that a lot of children were just adopted, inter-country adoption, and usually parents think that, oh, my child is going to have a good life and be educated somewhere. But they did not understand, or they do not understand that once you go through an inter-country adoption, your child is gone forever. And again, the processes, which child must be given up for adoption? These are questions, critical questions that we needed answered, and that is why the ban was placed on adoption, so that if any inter-country adoption was going to be done, it had to go through the central authority, which is the Department of Social Welfare here at the headquarters. But people were doing their own thing, and so there was no real regulation. Once they were able to go through the process, it was done, and we need to regulate all that. So which children can be given up for adoption? And so that is what was done. But of course, you would need to, there's a social inquiry report about the child, about who wants to adopt. Is a person a fit person? That is what we call, that is, a person is sane and has the capacity to take care of a child, and that the child is going to grow in an environment that would help his or her development to the maximum. And all these things would have to be done before the approval is given. But
right.
So many things were going on, and so there was a need for that moratorium.
Right. So, I mean, I've also had reports of people saying they're orphans when indeed they're not orphans. Are there regulations or guidelines as to who qualifies to be in an orphanage? I mean, there being instances where parents are hard up and are unable to take care of their children, and they take them to orphanages. Is this permitted?
Exactly.
Is it allowed by law?
You are perfectly right. Our findings have also indicated that some of these children in the orphanages are not orphans. Their parents are there. And so as we do the profiling, that's why we're doing the profiling of children as well under the program that we are doing. Once we do the profiling, we get the information on the children, and it's also a program that they're going to be reunited with their families. But by the law, an orphan is somebody who has lost either both parents or a parent. So that is what it's supposed to be. But we have also found out that most of the children in the orphanages are not orphans at all.
Right. Thank you very much. Mercy Ajabing is Communications Advisor at the Gender and Children's Ministries. My name is Stephen Enti, and you're watching Joynews Desk. We'll be right back. We'll take a break. Welcome back to News Desk. My name is Stephen Enti, and you can join us by posting your comments on our Facebook wall, facebook.com/Joynews on TV. We're still discussing the issues regarding the shooting of 5 people in Ekunfie-Fachur during the installation of the Odikro in that town. We're now joined on the line by the Accra Regional Police PRO DSP Freeman Tete. It's great to have you here, sir.
Good morning, my brother, and I'm also grateful that you're giving me the opportunity.
I was trying to figure out from the DCE when we spoke to him earlier how it is possible that 4 people could be shot dead instantly when somebody was preparing a gun to fire for a musketry. This must come to you as a shock?
Yes, actually, because they've actually violated the procedure. There's a clear procedure on that. You are not supposed to use live ammunition. The police must be notified. The police must give you clearance before you do that. So, obviously, an offense has been committed. So, as I heard my brother, the district commander, said this morning on your other network, Joy FM, there's a clear violation. A clear offense has been committed. So, the law is actually going to take its course because we all know it is a social activity, it's a cultural activity. So, live ammunition are not supposed to be used. Police must be informed. Gunpowders are supposed to be used. So, if somebody contravenes this or fails in this regard, then obviously the person has committed an offense.
So the other question too is that if they're not supposed to use live ammunition or gunpowder, what alternative is there for them to use to fire these musketry?
I said gunpowder is the alternative to live ammunition. That is what I said.
Okay, gunpowder is the alternative.
Yes,
and then
yes.
so.
And with that, you must still seek approval from the police. The police must be informed. The police must be convinced that you are using gunpowder.
And is this to suggest that if the man who accidentally fired this gun was using a gunpowder, this accident couldn't cause death?
It's not likely that to cause death because what is the only possibility is injury. But for instant death, there's no likelihood that it will cause death because we all know the potency of live ammunition and the potency of gunpowder. They are two. It's not a matter of justice for the family. It's a matter of a crime being committed and the police are investigating, and then depending the outcome of the investigation will inform the police on the next line of action.
Right, so it means that, I mean, at any time, I'm trying to link this one to other celebrations or festivities across the country. The Kumfi incident is not the only one. I mean, in Accra, in the eastern, central, western region, everywhere in the country, when people are installing chiefs, they fire ammunition. Are these guidelines very clear to all the people involved in such celebrations at all?
It's actually clear. One thing we must take note of is that ignorance of the law is no excuse, unless, of course, it's ignorance of the fact. But at the end of the day, there's a law that indicates that you ought to notify the police, and beside that, you are not supposed to use live ammunition. So people must know. It's a public event. The police must be informed. The nature of it must also be made clear to the police. So if it is a celebration or installation of a chief, and you have an intention of firing musketry, all those things must be made known to the police. But if you deceive the police, you'll be held for various offenses. And in this case, human life has been lost. You've deceived the police, assuming they told the police that they are using gunpowder, and it did not happen. It turned out to be live ammunition. Or they've done this, they did not inform the police and they went ahead. Then the other offense is clear in the statute book. So.
And when we spoke to the DC, he told us that the man in question has been brought to Accra Regional Police Command. Can you tell us the status of investigation so far into this?
We have no idea. If anything, then it's at the national level. We are dealing with two police regions, Central Region and Accra. So I wouldn't like to take that from the DC, maybe for want of a better application of it. That is why he said Accra. So it's the headquarters. There's a likelihood that it's the headquarters, not the regional command anyway. But at the end of the day, you said it's being handled at a higher level.
So typically, what will be investigated? I'm trying to get a clear idea that after the man was picked, because he has to be held in police custody maximum 48 hours, and he has to be let off. So what will be the procedure?
Well, it's not a matter of letting somebody off. It's a matter of either you take the person to court within 48 hours, or you let a person go. But in this case, we try to work within 48 hours. A police bail can be granted, or court bail can be granted. There are two things. And at the end of the day, it's a serious case that we just don't let people off the hook like that. It must go to court. There is a court that will decide to grant the person. Even if the police grants a police inquiry bail, at the end of the day, it will still go to court. And the court will decide on it.
There are also concerns that the arrest of this man appears to be kind of stifling traditional practices and norms, so that you've arrested a person who was performing a traditional role in celebrating the installation of an Odikro, and it's beginning to scare people off, and people will begin to doubt if it's worth it going to take part in a traditional event after all.
We don't have problem with traditional events, but it must be done within the remit of the law. What does the law say? When you are going to do a thing of that nature, with the use of musketry, you need to inform the police. The police must have an understanding of what you are going to do, and we are not supposed to use live ammunition. So that is what the law states, and that's what the police are looking into. We don't make laws, but we enforce laws. So whatever the outcome, if there's a criminal intent or there's a criminal element in any activity, then we go into it. If it is civil, we leave it for civil. If it is criminal, we have a responsibility.
Right, so what's the way forward in this? And then perhaps maybe I'll give you the opportunity and the platform to speak directly to people who are involved in such traditional festivities.
I think we are very grateful that we continue to get this opportunity to educate the public on this. What is important is that at every point in time, the police must be notified when it's going to be the use of musketry at social or cultural programs, particularly installation and of chiefs and then festivals, funerals, and other things. Because caution must be used here. The word caution must be used here. We continue to caution the public that it's a safety issue. So you must, at every point in time, involve the police. That is what the law says. So if you flout this basic law, then you will have yourself in blame.
Right. Thank you very much, DSP Freeman Tete. We're grateful for your time this morning.
Thank you, my brother.
DSP Freeman Tete is the Accra Regional Police Public Relations Officer. We've been discussing the security implications of the firing of a musketry during the installation of the Odikro of Ekumfie Facher, which led to the death of 5 people, 4 of which are confirmed to be children. We'll take a break and we'll be right back to wrap up News Desk. My name is Stephen. Welcome back to News Desk. A couple of your messages coming in. Abdul Salman says, this is absolutely wrong. This firing of musketry must be banned. And Dennis Bayo says that this shooting is very bad and I think this needs to be investigated. Kojo Mensah says this is an unfortunate incident. The family should be compensated. And Kofi Sian says, 4 dead, that is serious. Anyway, they should rest in peace. Actually, 5 dead, 4 are confirmed to be children. Thanks for your message there. And NS Brown says, some errors are not pardonable. He should be punished. Well, the police says that he has committed a public crime and it's an investigation, and we're told by the DC that he has been transported to Accra Regional Police Command for further investigations. And you heard us also speak to Freeman Tete there, and Nana Esi Into says, oh my God, why? Okay, so that's how far we can take your messages, and we're grateful that you could send them. And so on New Decks today, we looked at the information that we gathered from Tamale that a young man has been shot dead and lying in the street near to Bangbaga Training College. And so the information we are picking there is that he possibly might have tried to snatch someone's bike and he was lynched to death. And we also spoke about the death of 5 people in the firing of musketry during the installation of the Edukro of Ekumfie Facher. And then we spoke to you about the 2 months ultimatum given by the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection for all orphanages to register so that they will be able to profile orphans in this country. Statistics by the ministry show that only 9 out of 133 orphanages across the country operate with licenses, and the orphanages have been given a deadline to comply, after which they will be closed down if they did not comply. We spoke to Mercy Ejabing, who is a communications advisor at the ministry. We're grateful that you could make time for us here on Joy News Desk. My name is Stephen Anti.